All right, folks. Welcome to Talk TV Media Network. Another day of broadcast here at Talk TV Media Network. It's a beautiful day. Welcome. Today is business officially resumed. Our business segment, you know, of the week here at Talk TV Media Network. My name is Sam Gadu. We would love to talk about business. And so today we are talking about Africa. The biggest question: why is Africa a good place for business? So much good information. Those of you who are looking at investing in Africa, other countries in Africa, um, this will be very resourceful for you. So, welcome to the show. Um, we are broadcasting right here in Green Country, Oklahoma. To be more specific, Tulsa. It's a beautiful, beautiful day today here in Green Country. So welcome, share the link, be a part of the show. All of you watching us live, wherever you're watching us from, what part of the world you are watching. Um, Read the headlines. Headlines are coming out as well, right at the bottom of the screen. And share and be a part of the show as well. If you need to call in, we'll open the lines pretty soon. But this is what I call second opinion. Let me get you that. This is the part of the show I call Second Opinion by Sam Gadu. It's just a 30-minute segment. So you like the show? Share it. But we are looking at the main question here today that we will be looking at is business. The business environment in Africa. Africa is a booming economy. Africa is the wheel, the engine that's driving the world right now. Why these the Western world, other governments flooding into Africa and taking all our resources and coming to enrich themselves only to reprocess them and send them back to us with minimal, absolutely minimal or no pay. Why are they enriching themselves overnight? Why we sit there as Africans? We are able to do it. We have the manpower, the resources, the technical know how, all of it. But we are not doing it. Instead, others are traveling, foreigners coming into our our villages, our towns, our forest, and reaping the benefit. So this is why I thought to bring this show today, as in why is Africa a place to invest? Right? Very key. Why? If you look at Africa, the way Africa is structured, you realize that God has blessed Africa a lot. And let me bring this up so you'll be able to see what is happening. Africa is the second largest continent, a home of 54 countries and over 1.4 billion people living. The most central continent in the world when it comes to commerce. When you want to do commerce, business, it's Africa. Mm? And the way I'm starting the show, we are going to start with one specific country today, which is Liberia. But then I will generalize it as in other countries as well and touch a little bit of that as well. So you'll be able to realize that what's happening in Africa is something that we as Africans should take advantage of. We as Africans should open our eyes. If our eyes are not open, and someone else who's sitting outside the continent, eye is open and they walk in, they come in with pennies with milk or whatever, and salt, nothing to give us, thinking they're doing us favors, you know, coming in with used clothes when we can manufacture our own used, brand new clothes. All we need to do is to have those plants, companies well positioned that are capable to manufacture clothes. Clothes, they come from trees. Trees, folks. I'm telling you. So why is it that the raw materials are being taken out of Africa, exported out of the continent, manufactured and sent back? Can you imagine this shirt, this piece of cloth, this, right? Came from a tree. The source is a tree, and that is from Africa. And someone will cultivate it and bring it over here, raw materials, reprocess everything, and send it to them. Sell it for $1. Who is losing? Our African governments, our African leaders should be fully aware of what is happening around the world. So I will be touching about a few topics, some of the areas that are very, very lucrative when it comes to doing business in Africa. Some areas that are profitable, right? Very, very much so. But part of the information I would love to feed you with is this: some of the factors that are causing what is happening, like what I have on the screen. Critical factors greatly influence Africa's agriculture, which is considered the continent's single most important economic activity. Agriculture, folks. Agriculture, you understand, those of us who understand agriculture, who know what about agriculture, knows that that is the driving force right now. The world hunger is increasing. It's affecting us even here, those of us who are here in the Americas or globally. Hunger crisis is rising. So if you have the soil, you have the season is ripe for you, and you're not making use of that. What is going on? Your people are dying, right? Government needs to make sure those infrastructures are put in place, right? So when you look at the agricultural sector of Africa, it is rich. The climate itself, the forest, the soil is fertile, folks. I'm telling you, because take for instance, the common sense knowledge is everything that you and I do, everything that we crave, that we want, everything, the houses we live in, the cars we drive, Everything is from the soil, from the ground. And this is why when you, those of you who are Christians, when if you read the Bible, you realize the Bible talks about when God told man to till the ground. He said, "Go till the ground." So it's not left for man to search to know. God gave us a direction where to look. He formulated and formed everything and created everything and said, "Till the ground." He put everything. God took the diamonds and put them in the ground. The iron ore, put them on the ground. The rubber, put them on the ground. The soil, food, put it in the ground. All of that. The buildings and the structures and the houses we live in, rocks, everything comes from the ground. The sand, all of that. The fishes, everything comes from the ground. So God said, "Man, I have taken everything that you want, that you would need for your living, and I'm going to put it in the ground. So all you need to do is go look for it." So now you need to find out what part of it that God has put within you that you can figure out. It's in the ground. The clothes we wear, trees from the ground. Rice, you have to plant it from the ground. Crops, everything that leads to our survival is from the ground. So now I ask you, if you compare other continents and that of Africa, you realize that Africa is blessed. And it is a virgin growing economy of the world right now. Oil, oil that's killing man and economy and the rising cost of prices of stuff, everything from the ground. So you see, when I talk about business in Africa, those of you who have the business acumen and in mindset, you're thinking like there's nowhere else to look. Governments and people who are informed around the world globally, China is heavily involved into Africa. America is heavily. The world powers are coming into Africa. So now our governments need to realize we can't just we have to set the rules and regulations that govern this, that protect the interest of Africa. Because if you do, your people will flourish, your nation will grow from poverty to higher heights. So agriculture is one area. When you look at agriculture, you realize that agriculture employs two-thirds of the continent's working population and contributes 20 to 60% of every country's gross domestic product, GDP. This is what's happening. When you look at agriculture in Africa, two-thirds of the continent population. Hmm? Fascinating. And when you look at it, how growing it is, and you see all these guys, China, oh my gosh, when you go almost in every um country now, they are exploring the forest. The Chinese, they're giving our governments incentives, few powers, brokers, people who are in power, just giving them whatsoever. And here they are. You gave away your land. And now you gave away your land for them to do farm. But you didn't give them the diamond. If that property or that land you gave them is only to do farm, you don't know what this man is going to do. If he's lucky to find diamond there or oil, whatever it is, he's gone. He's rich. So our governments need to realize, like here in the US, we have in real estate what we call the law of eminent domain. You don't own even your own property. Government owns it all. This house that I sit in, if the government decides that they want a highway that is going to go through here to benefit this locality, they're going to come and take over. They're just going to reimburse you the cost, the value of your property. The law of eminent domain. On the books in our governments in Africa, we need to put laws in place that will make foreigners, people who come in with agendas to take over our countries, our economies, in place where they cannot take everything, and then the people who live there become slaves to them. That's what I'm talking about. So when you look at Liberia, where I'm from, to be more specific, we're going to look at the country of Liberia. Um, Africa. Let me post this on the board. Some of the areas that you will find, some areas you will find in Africa that can get you rich quickly in Africa are these areas I just mentioned: housing, waste management, technology, retail, agriculture. When you invest in these areas in Africa, the rate of return is very high. Very high. Let's look at housing. You have more land, more people living in huts, you know, roads, people need roads, government needs government buildings built, highways. So housing is a huge thing because people are still living in most parts of Africa primitively. So if you build a nice house, or you buy vast land, let's say 10 acres, 20 acres, 50, 100, and you develop that property, that land, the rate of return is very high. You'll make all your money just like that. Whatever your investment, in a few years, the rest is profit. So investors, you want to look into that area when it comes to housing in Africa. Very easy because the people are more. You find what's happening is you'll find in a 3 or 4 bedroom house, 4 different tenants living in a 4 bedroom house. So a tenant is only coming to rent a room, one room. Some houses has just one toilet. So everybody, you got to get out of your room if you want to use the toilet to go use it, or bathroom. So you see the demand. People want to be free. People want to live a modern life, and so the need for investing in real estate is key, very key, and it's very cheap. Not only is it cheap or easy to build a 2, 3 bedroom house in Africa, but the labor itself is cheap compared to other countries around the world. The labor is very low margin, very low. So can you imagine paying someone $10 a day? A day. And that's enough. That's a lot. That's what I'm talking about. So when you look at all of those factors when it comes to housing or construction, you know, you manage well, you are well positioned. There's so much you can make. So much. And banks are looking, OPM, other people's money, use it. Use what they call OPM. The banking institutions are looking for credible people they can trust and invest into your companies. Housing. So that's one area. Waste management, that's another area. Those of you who are involved in that industry, it's huge, making millions, millions of dollars. Technology. Africa is a growing continent when it comes to technology. Technology is rapidly fascinating, growing. It's trying to catch up with the rest of the world. But because of that demand and that need, so those who are involved in technology in Africa, they're cutting it, man. They're cutting it big time, big time. And this is why second opinion here, normally when it comes to business, second opinion, I tend to come and talk about things that matters, things that are very important. I give you my opinion about environment, about life, about other things that matters. This is what we do. Second opinion, right? Retail, retail businesses. The Lebanese, the Indians, the Chinese are cutting it. They're making millions in Africa. When you travel around the world especially in Africa. When you go to Africa, you go in cities in other parts of Africa, you realize who are the merchants, who's the man that has a store around the corner, who is the man that has a shop or a supermarket where you can do a one-stop shop where you can get all of it. Who is that man? When you look, you find out that man, that person is a foreigner. That individual is a foreigner. And when you find out how they got to your country, they probably got there with one pants and one shirt and a pair of shoes, and they fought it because the rate of increase of growth when it comes to business is so huge between what you're putting in and what you're getting back. It's so profitable and they're so smart in management. That's how they do it. Like in my country, Liberia, we normally say a Fula man, with people in Liberia know what I mean. Fula man or Mandingo man will come somewhere with nothing and they sit down and open their little business around the corner. Guess what? That man came with nothing. When you go find out, even government officials, most people are taking loans from him. Credit. They're making money. They're cutting it. This is happening. And this is let me to be more specific for Liberia. I want to point out some key areas that are more very much profitable because our show is very short because second opinion we don't go that much. It's just a 30-minute show. For those of you who are watching and will love to invest, since we're looking at Liberia today, look at this. Let me bring that um, on the headlines on the screen. Okay, some of Liberia's opportunities for investment are in mining. You see, just one tiny little country, a country of 5 point something million, quote unquote, according to whatever information they've given us, and 43,000 square miles country. It's not a big country. It's not even Oklahoma is bigger than Liberia. Can you imagine that? It is filled with mineral resources, agriculture. Liberia is rich with agriculture, the soil, the trees, the forest, the sea, right? Fishing. Fishing is another area that makes a lot of money in Liberia. Agriculture is a big area that makes money in Liberia. Forestry. Forestry is huge, huge. Those who are involved into forestry in Liberia are cutting it, man. They're making money. The planks, construction's going on, buildings and stuff. So all of that. And then there are other specialized sectors of the Liberian economy uh, 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 that when it comes to the growth, which is energy. Energy is huge. Telecommunication. That has been the problem. People, like if you go to Liberia, the few telecommunication companies we have, like Cellcom, Lone Star, they're making money. The owners of those companies are making money and they're killing people on the rates, right? We have what we call free business in Liberia where they give you can only text, but you can't really call. They think Liberians people think they're doing us favor, but it's not. It's just something to lure you in, as in, yeah, this company offers this. But look at America when it comes to telecommunication, the private sector. And this is where I talk to my to Liberian government, most officials privatize most of the government, the country. Don't be a monopoly takeover to run people's lives. You don't want that as a government, you know. Privatize the business sector. Let investors come in. Let because what happens is when you privatize the economy, the country, the most part of it, investors come in and there's competition. And where there's competition, who benefits? The citizens. Your people benefit. Because if you like telecommunication, what I'm talking about, if we have about 5 or 6 or 10 telecommunication companies in Liberia, right? Everybody following the books. the rates will drop. It will drop. Huge, huge. The competition. Now, when you're buying your data and all of that, people will be giving you incentives to join their network. That's what happens. Now, you instead of the customer now chasing the company will be chasing the customer. Because why? There is competition on the market. That's what happens. This is what our governments need to do. Competition. Tourism is another beautiful area. Liberia is so well laid out with fine beaches, fine lagoons, forests, where people, tourism can go. The city is surrounded. Liberia is sitting right there by the Atlantic Ocean. When you go to Harper, Grand Bassa, when you go inland, beautiful, beautiful mountains, places to see. The forest, where you see the elephants, chimpanzees, you know, waterfall, all of that. Beautiful. So, as a government, if the government is doing well and these places are earners and developed, guess what? You attract tourism. People want to travel to see the world. People want to come and eat your domestic food and enjoy and Liberians are already well gifted when it comes to cooking. I feel Liberians are the best cook in the world. Liberian food, right? So think about that alone. Food industry. The food industry itself alone, the country is blessed with the soy, two seasons, the rainy season and the dry season, where right now, if you go to Liberia, you're eating fresh mangoes, plums, you know, cassava, um, oranges, pineapples, all of that, cucumbers, fresh from the farm to your table. Can you imagine that? That's blessing. What are we doing as a people? Can we innovate? Can our governments innovate? So we will now look at government is not like 50 years ago, 30 years ago. Things are changing. So we need to move along with what is happening. The economy of the world is moving, is driving, is changing. Technology is moving, changing. So we need to do the same thing. We need to move along. Because if you don't, what happens in that case is when you are left behind, you're a victim, you suffer. So these are the areas that I feel like I think are very, according to my second opinion, these are areas that you want to look into. Mining, agriculture, fishing, forestry, logging is going on, taking place. Energy, electricity, very key. Electricity is very, very key to our survival. Because what got me talking to you right now is electricity. If there was no electricity, there's no way I could power this to connect with the rest of the world. So we must understand that electricity is very, very key. Energy is very important. That too, privatize that, privatize electricity, and you'll see it all over. If you have the money, you see an investor that have money that wants to come with energy, give them incentives or whatsoever, get on the table. Look at the both options. It's a win-win. Sign the contracts. It becomes a win-win because I'm not going to be coming with my money. And the first thing a man is in, anybody is in business is to make profit, right? There's no businessman who's in business that do not want to make profit. That's the first key. You're into business to make profit. So I don't want to go with investors or investment to a country after doing all my feasibility studies and all of that stuff and not want to make count profit first. So you get in this country, whichever country, environment in Africa you want to, you have to have that at the back of your head. And governments need to understand you got to bargain in favor of the country, not because they come in to give you uh, a pocket change they're going to put in your pocket, few monies or whatsoever. Because this is what's killing our African continent. An investor will come in good faith with money, with investment and equipments, and in order to discuss, to have a good contract bilateral discussion, the other man sitting now on the other side, government official, my man, what in it for me? What you get for me? Before discussion start. That is the first area of corruption. That is the first area of defeat. That is the first area where you saying the country you putting your first personal interest ahead of the country's interest. This is what happened. This is what our government officials. If I am coming into your country and you realize I have an investment that's going to benefit the nation and the people and your people, why would I want you? Why would you want something extra for me to give you on the side as a pocket change before you know if I'm coming to open a hospital, common case scenario. If I'm coming to open a hospital in your town, and you know that your people will benefit, I'm not going to take that hospital, even if I decide to leave at the end of that contract and travel and come back with it or demolish it. Your people will benefit. I have to bribe you. I have to give you money to make you happy, to sign concessions or whatsoever for me, to get land, to buy land, to open that hospital. This is corruption. Corruption that is destroying, that has handicapped Africa and African governments and its people. Folks, this is what I'm talking about. You don't want to do this. And these are the people that you need to weed out. Weed them out. That's why I always say, my second opinion, do not put poor people in government. Because when you put a poor person in government, what happens is the people suffers. Someone who has not handled 10,000 before, who has never even seen it, when you show them $20,000 or $50,000, they're ready to they go crazy. That's what happens. They'll go crazy, folks. So that's what happens. So those of you who are looking into investing in Liberia, those of you who are looking into a joint venture or businesses in Africa, Ghana, Kenya, Nigeria, Cameroon, Sierra Leone, Guinea, wherever, Africa is ready to do business with you. Africa is prepared. And your investment for investing in Africa will not go in vain. I guarantee you, you'll make money. Look at the industry of airlines. Let's look at the airlines, commercial airlines. It's never compares, nowhere close to what it is here in Europe or America, in the third world countries. It's not. Imagine now a whole country rich with natural resources, with money, do not even have an airline industry. Air travel is a booming business. Air travel. Liberia is well positioned. The Roberts International Airport is well located in Africa, where it connects most of the countries. It becomes a hub. Liberia is a hub for business. So what is better? What's holding us back? What's holding us? It has to do with putting the country's interest first versus our interests. Put the interest of the country first, develop the infrastructure of the country, make the environment secure, make the environment friendly, and people will come in to invest. That's what happens, folks. So, those of you Who wants to invest in Africa? It's not that difficult. It's not that hard. It's not, right? Our government, people need to know. Look at this. People need to realize that nations are suffering, others are getting rich overnight. And another area when it comes to agriculture, when you look at palm tree, oil, 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 the oil that people use to cook or refine to use in different ways, you know, oil, red oil. I'm talking about palm oil, palm oil. Look at the palm tree itself, what it's composed of. That is the unique thing that God has blessed Africa and Liberia and Africa as a whole. Look at the palm tree, the resourcefulness of the palm tree. Out of the palm tree, you can get palm wine. Out of the palm tree, you can get a palm nut, the palm nut inside, and then the shell at the back of it. It's what people use. Because, like for me in Africa, Liberia, I have almost a 10-acre palm farm in my town, right? I'm showing you the importance of this. The palm branches, touches alone, you can use them for different reasons, different purposes. Some people we can use it for broom, you know, all of that. The palm, some of it, people use it for wood, for cooking. The palm tree itself, very resourceful tree. And you find that alone in Liberia, most parts of Liberia, all over. People, most Liberians and even Liberian leaders, some of them are beginning to understand the importance of growing palm farm. Palm oil, palm nuts, coconut oil, palm kernel oil. You use it for different reasons. And it glitters. Some people use it for cream, for grease. You know, where they rub them, it glitters your body. It's refreshing. It revitalizes your body, your skin. That's what palm does. Different reason. So, folks, on today's show, here at Talk TV Media Network, there's no better way. The topic for discussion today, here with Second Opinion with Sam Gadu, is why is Africa a good place for business? That's why I chose to bring to you today. Africa is a good source. Africa is a good ground to sow. Africa is a good ground to sow. And when you sow, you will reap bountifully in Africa. So, folks, and all I can say is our governments, 54 countries in Africa, tighten your belts. Understand the rules. Understand the rules of engagement when someone comes at your door knocking for your property, for land. Understand how to negotiate. You don't want to sign a 99-year plus contract wherein you will die, the people ahead of you will die, and the children keep suffering. You don't want to sign those kind of long 2,000 years contract with companies that will exploit you so much, like in the case of Firestone in Liberia. That's what happened. You want to tell me Firestone has not gotten their money over the years from time and time? Huh? 100 plus years? They're still making it. They're still making the money. Firestone. So the contracts and the concessions that you guys make, our leaders, you got to be very smart. You got to put the experts, you got to bring them to the table to understand that what you are signing, what you putting your pen, your ink to, is in the best interest of the nation. And not your own what you can eat today, what you can get today, because you'll get that $50,000 and you'll blow it. Oh, I gave you 1 year, 2 year, finish. It's done. And now who benefits? Because it's the same scenario I tell people I don't want to talk about politics, and it's the same scenario I talk about African governments as in the case of elections. How in the world you will sit when someone comes and give you a bag of rice to go and vote for them? That's bribing you to give you a bag of rice. Instead, in exchange, you are going to vote for them to put them in power for 6 years. So you giving them bag of rice, they're giving you one bag of rice for 1 month. You're going to just finish that in 1 month, and then you're going to vote for them and give them bag of rice for 6 years. 6 years, you feeding them. And this very person that came and gave you that bag of rice, and you put them in power, and you go the next time while they're in their office or not for help, they don't even know you. So you see, the decision that people make when it comes to elections are very, very key. Don't look at your poverty today and tie the country and the children and the children and your children that come behind you. Because your vote matters. Look at the people that have the love of country, the people that are capable, the people that have the technical know-how, the people that have the connections internationally, the people that know how to develop, how to do things, hmm? And vote for them. Because we're humans, we're going to fail. We're not going to please you. We're not going to be able to do it all. That's the first thing. That's what happened. But at least if someone is able to function and do for the country 80%, the 20%, we can live with that, right? That's it. We're looking for people who love the country, who will speak in the best interest of the country, who will act in the best interest of the country. When you find those type of people who are not willing to take bribes, brown envelope under the table, people who will stand up for what is right, it will propel the country and help the country to move forward. And everybody benefits in that case. But if you have 10 people standing at your fence or at your door every morning knocking at the door for help, what kind of minister you minister, you working in government. You take pleasure in people standing in long lines every day looking for you, waiting for you at your office. That in itself is poverty. If you see people in lines waiting for you as a lawmaker or as a minister, minister of an agency, waiting for you, there should be people that are coming to discuss business, to talk business in the best interest of the nation. That's how you should in waiting rooms, offices and stuff. But if you see people in waiting rooms, like in Liberia and other parts of Africa, they're begging. They're begging. Carpe, my child's school fee, all of that stuff. That should tell you as a lawmaker or as a big person, as a big shot, the country is poor. But what can we do to make it better? Because we don't need that. I don't need someone coming at my office and line up. When I open up my office to go for lunch, I see about 10 people standing asking for bread, for handouts. You don't want that. No, that is not God's intent. That's not how God wants any man to live. It's not God's intent. It's man trying to suppress man. Folks, man trying to suppress man. That's all there is. But second opinion, I'm done. Giving you my second opinion for the day. Business talk, weekly business talk here at Talk TV Media Network. We are talking. We are looking into Africa, talking about business. That is what we are doing, folks. I hope this will help you. And as you go over all these climatic information, all this information I just put out for you today. So if you know someone, you want to take advantage of this agriculture, all of this, the forest, the gold, mining, you know, all of that, it will benefit you. It will help the country, all of us, your nation. I will never leave without not giving you this quote. This is the quotation of the day. A person's most beautiful asset is not a head full of knowledge, but a heart full of love, an ear ready to listen, and a hand willing to help others. I read again. A person's most beautiful asset is not a head full of knowledge, but a heart full of love, an ear ready to listen, and a hand willing to help others. Let us go and help our people. Are you willing to listen as a leader in the best interest of your people, of your country? Are you? Are you? Do you have the heart full of love? Because when you have a heart that is full of love, you will do what is right for your people. Is your ear ready to listen? Is your ear ready to listen? Because when you listen and you have a heart that is full of love, then you have a hand in that case, a hand that is full and ready to help someone. You have a hand that is ready to help the country. That is it, folks. That is it. I'm telling you, this is the best quote of the day. So let's make Africa rich. Let's make Africans rich. Let's help our people. Let's help. Let's innovate. Let's grow our economies. These basic necessities or services that the people need, let's make them available. Safe drinking water, electricity, good access roads, food. Let's make food on our own. Let's not depend on the word, but let the word depend on us because God has blessed Africa. I'll see you here next week at the same time for Business Talk, Business Week at Talk TV Media Network.